Welcome back here to the McRaven Dynasty. We're here today. We're heading into Week 5. For the first 4 weeks, we have gone 2-2. Other than the Clemson game, we've had some ups and downs. App State, we looked pretty good. Not really what I was looking for. Ball State was a bad game, but Western Michigan, we kind of put it all together, and we're starting to go in the right direction. As we look at the entire landscape of college football, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, NC State would be in the playoff if it ended today. Obviously, we're only a few weeks into the season. A lot of shakeup that is going to take place, and it has taken place. As we're going to go through some of the big major games that happened throughout Week 5. Obviously, we're on the bye. We did not play. But Clemson, a team we did play in the first week of the season, they smoked us, but they actually started 1-2. We were their only win until they go into Wake Forest and get the win. Dabo off the hot seat. Oklahoma State gets a victory over West Virginia. West Virginia was undefeated going into that game. Arkansas bounces back after a loss to Washington and beats Texas A&M, a team who beat Alabama. And Alabama rebounds in the way that they always do, 38-10, destroying Ole Miss on their way to a big win. So Alabama resolidifies themselves as a playoff contender, but Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, NC State, and Oregon receiving votes to be the number 1 team in the country. But Bama, Miami, USC, Michigan State, Utah, Clemson, still there in the mix. Texas undefeated, Oregon State undefeated, Auburn undefeated. Some teams that have some chances throughout this season to make a mark as they go through conference play. There were some injuries. Tanner Morgan did get hurt. He is questionable going into the game against Michigan. And Kadon Slovis, the Pittsburgh quarterback, out a couple weeks, so Pitt's chance at an ACC title hindered a bit. Same with Oklahoma, as Dylan Gabriel will be out, including the game between Oklahoma and Texas. We have a game coming up here against Akron, a 1-4 Akron team. They're the worst turnover differential team in the country, -13. They really give the ball up a lot, and they don't force a lot of them. Also, running the ball, they've given up a lot of rushing yards, so if we can get Allison going, that would be big for us. We noticed that we're able to succeed a lot in these games when we're able to actually run the ball. Also, turnovers are the killer. We notice here, their front seven, it's okay. They actually got some good linebackers. So in terms of them being in pressure, that could be a problem for us. So we're really going to try to get Rourke the ball out quick. But the main goal in this game is to run the ball. Get Allison going, maybe Rourke getting out of the pocket every now and then. If he needs to scramble, he can do so. That's what we're going to this game trying to do. This Akron team is really not that good of a team, and we should go in there and win. Granted, talent-wise, we do match up kind of similarly. It's just a matter of Rourke. He's very inconsistent, and hopefully he comes to play. So, that was our game plan coming into it. As we started this game, we really couldn't get much going. Rourke missed a few throws. That one dropped by Bostic. Allison really couldn't get going running, so we tried to get Walton going, and even then, they were swarming us on the outside. Not much going for us. And then on 3rd and 14, trying to come up with something, we were constantly behind the sticks. Allison couldn't do anything on the screen there, and nothing was going. We're trying to keep it short. I just don't want Rourke to have to force throws down the field. Rourke this time was back to throw. He got it to Walton. Again, quick passes. That's what we're trying to do, trying to officially get down the field. Not being able to run the ball twice forced us into another 3rd and long. Miscommunication between Walton and Rourke, and it's another punt. That was really the story of our first quarter. Rourke again back to throw, just too much time. This time missing a throw. He really was missing a lot of throws. I mean, 2 of 9 to start this game, and then another 3rd and long. Pressure comes, forced to scramble out. Luckily, Rourke's got some good legs on him, so he's able to scramble out, get the first down, get us across the 40. But then on a 1st and 10, this time back for a little bit too long, and the pressure comes, and he would get sacked. That's the one thing I wanted to avoid. We can't have him sitting back there. He will not be able to do it. And then trying to force a throw immediately after that, also what we didn't want to do. We get behind the sticks, and then we try to make it all up in one play. 2nd and 22, you shouldn't do that. We're really deviating from the game plan a little bit, so we tried to get back to it. Try to establish that run game. But Allison really had nothing going this entire game. And then again, another 3rd and long. Can we get anything? Rourke this time just misfiring. That was the entire first half. It was we couldn't run the ball, and then we tried with Rourke, and then here, play action. Offensive line just gives it up. We're down 21-0 here early. 3rd and 20. It was one of the few good plays we had. This time Wiggless catching it, getting it near the 50. But then 2nd and 12, we just continue behind the sticks. Play action. Rourke gets drilled. He fumbles the ball. No one can get on it, and Akron recovers it. And they were already up 21-0. This won't help. I mean, just unblocked, untouched. nothing that we could do, and Rourke would just get drilled. And that was kind of the entire first half. As I said, 21-0, then 28-0. A minute left. We're trying to force something here down the field, just get anything that we can. Walton this time pushing it across the 50, and then after that, 52 seconds, we really need a score. And this time Rourke, just pressure comes, getting drilled, and we're back into that 2nd and 20 situation. And this is what we shouldn't have done. We tried to make it all up on one play. Rourke this time trying to fire, underthrows the ball significantly. This one is picked, his 3rd turnover of the first half, and it was a 28-0 Akron lead at halftime. We really just couldn't get anything going running the ball, and it really forced us to be behind the sticks. However, quick passes actually worked pretty well. We just tried to force a few too many big plays once we got behind the sticks. So here in the second half, we're making an adjustment. We're just going to go and we're going to try to make these quick passes. And that's how we're just going to play the entire game, almost abandon the run completely, and just try to get these balls out and get it to the receivers on the outside. This time getting to Burton, the tight end on the outside. Big time play. It seems to be working. Rourke would back up again, this time finding Bostic, and he's got there a big play, and we would get into the end zone for our first score, making it 28-7. We'd get the ball back. This time, Rourke again with a little bit of play action, trying to get the ball out, but this time finding Green and just going to take off and run with it. Rourke, he can scramble. He can make plays like this when we need him to, just taking advantage of what the defense gives him. This time dropping back to throw, maybe a little bit too longer than we wanted, but still got it to Walton. We were able to get the play, and it opened up the run game a little bit. The same Bangura was able to get a nice 9, and that's a big run for us in this game. That was really all we had, and then a read option working to perfection, Rourke powering his way into the end zone, getting us a touchdown, and just like that, it was a 14-point game. We had all the momentum, everything was working. The second half is working exactly as we planned it. But then Rourke back to throw this time, looking and firing it over the middle and finding Miles Cross again. We're back across the 50. Another 19 yards, and it's really working. Rourke this time trying to roll out, make a play, and he would throw it across his body and throw a pick. That one, I totally should have just thrown it earlier. I was looking, I actually would have had, he had so much green in front of him, I just throw it now. But instead I waited a little bit too long. Defense comes back, he comes back for the ball, and nothing works out. We look here, we actually scored on a kickoff return after they had scored. So it was 35-20, so we were still in the same situation, even though we threw the pick. And they've actually only executed really off our turnovers in this game. Rourke this time with back to throw, fire it over the middle. He's got Miles Cross again. A nice spin would get him to about the 45-yard line. We were really trying to push the ball here again, maybe forcing it a little bit too much, but we were able to run it here with Rourke, get the first down, just slide down, don't turn that ball over. 2nd and 10 here, another play action. He's got a little bit of time, nice block from Allison. Rourke would fire one up and throw it into double coverage and throw another pick. Just trying to force it way too many times. We had the exact perfect game plan. I don't know why we didn't just stick with it. I just tried to force too many times to try to get it down the field, and it wasn't working ever at all. And their DBs made plays. As we said, they had good safeties, and those safeties made plays today. So Rourke this time would be back to throw. 5 minutes left in this game. Get it to Miles Cross. We still have time in this game to get back in it here. This time on a play action, firing again. Just get it out quickly. That was all we had to do. We didn't have to take the deep shot. Just get it out of the hand and just get it down the field. Rourke this time scrambling, was able to make a play, get it to Allison. A little ad-lib there, getting it across the 25. And then from there on 2nd and 10, Rourke would be back to throw, firing, and he's got Wigless. He would get into the end zone, and it would be a touchdown. And we had a chance to make it a 7-point game. We would go for 2 right here. And we had a nice play set up. I thought it could work. Their defense has been really good at defending the pass in this entire game. And I should have probably not dumped it off there. Really, there wasn't much that we could have done. Allison couldn't get it, and we were down by 9. Then with 3:30 to go, Rourke this time would scramble out, try to make a play. No one's really open, so he's just going to take off and run with it, get the first down. Rourke really saved a lot of plays with his legs. So then we tried to continue it. 3rd and 6. Can we get something? Allison would get stuffed again. That was a lot of this game, him just not being able to make any sort of play. And then on 4th and 3, our last chance in this game, trying to dump it off this time, check it down to Allison, but it got knocked away, and Rourke had a really inefficient game. He did have a great second half, I'll give him that, but in reality, it just really wasn't going to do anything. 18-41 in this game, 4 turnovers, 4 interceptions, I should say, 5 total turnovers. He fumbled it as well. We just couldn't run the ball. Rourke was able to scramble out, make some plays, but Allison with only 25 yards. We completely abandoned it in the second half. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. I mean, our second half game plan seemed to have worked. We did win 26-7 in that second half, But not being able to run the ball absolutely killed us. Sure, Rourke got 301 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it looked great, but it really wasn't the perfect game that we're looking for. A 1-4 Akron team, now 2-4, is a team that we just shouldn't have lost to. So after this week, that's a tough loss, but we do move on to the next week, and college football still had some more games that did happen. In this one, there was a lot of shakeup this week. Week 6 had a lot of problems for it. Utah was not one of them, as they would take care of business against UCLA. This time, Cameron Rising taking it all the way himself, sealing the deal for the Utes. Michigan State and Iowa. Iowa surprisingly goes to 6-0 after they beat a really good Michigan State team, handing them their first loss of the season. Iowa doing it with defense and just field position. Michigan would get upset by Minnesota in a shocker, 34-24. 2-4 Minnesota. They're 1-4 going to this game, and a shocking loss there. And then the ACC, Wake Forest and NC State, they've been on a collision course this entire season, and Wake Forest would pull it out. And then Georgia just escaping in Neyland as Tennessee nearly took one from Georgia. But that is the recap of this week. And we look at the top 25. Ohio State still remains on top. You got Georgia 2, Oregon at 3, and then Miami at 4, USC, Alabama, Oregon State, Texas, to name a few. Auburn still at 6-0, which is really shocking. You got Iowa at 6-0 now, Washington at 5-0. So some interesting teams getting into the mix here late in the season. We, however, move on to our next matchup, where we are playing a 2-3 Central Michigan team. This Central Michigan team hasn't played really anybody this season other than NC State. Of course, was the number 4 team in the country before losing. But if we look at the game plan going to this one, it actually pretty much works itself out. As we look, what we need to do is run the ball to the right side. They have a pretty good front four, but if we're able to get it to the next level, the left outside linebacker, really, really bad at a 69 overall. And then if you look at the left side of that, left side of the offense, right side of that defensive line, they got some really good players in impact, but a linebacker, impact, right end. So they also really struggle. They have some bad safeties as well. So, if we can really get it to the second level rushing the ball, as well as attacking over the top, we have a good chance to make some big plays in this game, and that's what we're going to do going this one. Every single run to the right side, and we're going to try to throw it deep with Rourke, and we're going to see how it works out. As the game plan going into this one, let's get right into it. So to start off this game, we are going right at it with a run to the right side, but this time we're going to give it to Rourke. Rourke does the job and gets the first down that we need. 1st and 10, this time just setting up a screen for Allison. He's got all the space in the world. He sheds a tackle, gets it across to the 30-yard line to the 25. So we're off to a great start, executing at a high level to begin this game. Then on 3rd down, Rourke was looking, got drilled as he let that one throw. As we know, our offensive line does not give Rourke much time back there. So, forced settle for a field goal. They get one as well, so it's a 3-3 game. Next possession, 1st and 10, trying to loft it to the outside, underthrown, significantly looking for Walton that time. Got tipped into the air, leads to an interception. Walton was trying to lead him to the outside, and Rourke just underthrew it by a bajillion yards. So terrible throw there from Rourke. This time Rourke again, pressure comes, but he does fire one this time to the outside to Walton. He's able to get it for a quick 20 yards. And then on 1st and 10, setting up a screen right back to Walton. He's got it, making a play, getting us across the 45, 17 yards. Screens are our friends, so let's utilize them. Rourke this time rolling out a little bit to his right on 3rd down. Not able to hit. That inaccuracy, always been a problem, always will be. And he's only 3 of 10 for the game to start. This time, running into that right side, as we said, Allison's able to break one out finally and get a nice gain of 12. Then on 2nd and down, Rourke back to throw, floating one up and just into the arms of Bostic. A beautiful throw and an even better catch that time. Then we're going to go with a little option. Keep it with Rourke. He's got it. He's got the legs. He's got the speed. And we are into the red zone very quick, executing just the way we came to this game planning to. Bangura pounds this one up the middle for a quick 5. And then, of course, we're going to reverse to other than the right side. And we execute, getting that 4-yard touchdown, our first of the game, making it a 10-6 game. After a really bad punt, they end up in this field position. I thought it was a turnover, but no, it was a punt. Rourke this time got drilled, though. We weren't able to execute and get anything. 4th and 3. Try to go for it. Allison pushing it to the outside here, and he would just be an inch shy. So trying to be aggressive. We tried to take advantage. Could not do it. They execute with another field goal, so it's 10-9. This time, throwing this one, probably a dangerous throw, but Miles Cross makes the play. Luckily, again, they have really bad safety, so the coverage there really poor. This time, floating it out, and Bostic jumping up and making the play. Then on 2nd and 10, Rourke looking, firing it deep in a beautiful throw to Bostic. We're really hitting those big time shots, hitting those plays, exposing those safeties. Beautifully done. 17-9 was the score at this point. 3rd and 10, we were just trying to get something going. And this one was tipped away, almost picked that time by Trey Jones, but it'll be a quick 3 and out for us. On to the next possession. We're still 17-9, but this time Rourke's going to keep it himself. He's been able to run it pretty efficiently up to this point, so get a quick 7 there. Another 3rd down for us. We need to execute. Screen goes nowhere, and again, offense is stalled off the field at this point. So we're here midway through the 3rd quarter, trying to get something, and then it was Walton getting a few blocks and getting to that 2nd level. He's got the speed. Nobody is there. Walton is gone. That is a touchdown, a huge one for Ohio, 76 yards to the end zone. Big time play, making it a 2-score game. 24-9 would remain the score. Defense really stepping up in this game. Then we had a nice little screen here to Allison. He's got a convoy of blockers in front of him, getting it across into their territory. Another big time play. 1st and 10, give it right back to Allison. Run it to that right side. We got space, and we've got another 1st down. The offense is clicking here. Rourke this time firing to the outside. He's got Bostic again. Bostic having a big game in this one. This time it's Rourke. He's going to run it, and he's going to take it into the end zone again, rushing to none other than that right side. We've been able to expose it. The game plan has been executed perfectly. Big time throws, deep down the field, and running it to the right side. This time it was Rourke scrambling out, firing, couldn't get anything, so it was another 3 and out for us. They would make it a 14-point game. So now back to throw in 3rd and 8. Rourke feels the pressure, but is able to get it to Allison, who's able to make a move, get his way to the 40, to the 30, 25, 20, and pushed out of bounds inside the red zone. 3rd and 11 this time. Rourke back to throw, a little bit of time, and a beautiful throw to Bostic here again. 19 yards and another touchdown for Ohio. Another big touchdown for us, 37-24 after they score. So it's still a 14-point game. We still have to execute, make some plays. Rourke scrambling to his right this time, dumping it off this time to Cac Merrick, the tight end who also plays a little bit of fullback for us. Gets it for 15 and a 1st down. Just trying to run this clock out. This time it's Allison. Taking it to the left side this time. First run to the left side, and he's got it for a 1st down. 12 yards, 1st and 10, going back to that right side. Allison able to expose him, cuts it back, and he is gone. Once you get to that 2nd level against this defense, nothing they can really do about it. So we end up pulling out a huge win against Central Michigan here. We executed that game plan to absolute perfection. Big time throws down the field and running the ball to the right side. It couldn't have worked any better. And every single play that we had worked exactly as we wanted it to. Rourke had a solid game. 2 touchdowns and a pick. He's, again, not very efficient because he's just not accurate. Allison running the ball did fantastic. So did Rourke running the ball. Bangor got a few touches, and then Walton, of course, the big run. Bostic was the name I feel like we kept calling this game. 2 touchdowns for him, so the senior making some plays. And then the week of college football still had some games. Major upsets in this one. Arizona would go into USC and upset the Trojans in a shocker. Texas and Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout. Texas would prevail in that one. And then Oregon and Washington. Bo Nix making some plays. And the Oregon Ducks would beat Washington in Washington. And then finally, Michigan and Penn State. Michigan handing Penn State their first loss, and Michigan bouncing back. So Oregon, after the win, jumps up to number 2 in the country. Oregon State still sitting there at number 5. Texas moves up to number 6. You see some teams shaping around. Auburn up to number 8 team in the country, still undefeated at 7-0. USC falls to 15. And of course, some teams still in the hunt, sitting around there with a lot of games to go. That is the end of this week, so I hope you guys did enjoy. We will head to Eastern Michigan for the next game and the next video. Please do leave a like if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe if you are new. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and of course, goodbye.